what's that, boy? Oh, do you want that, do you? Okay, that's a good fella. Well, I just want to ask you something, Sebastian. How do you turn this radish... Okay, he's not interested in the radish. No. How do you turn the radish, okay, into a nice pickle? Such as this fermented radish in this jar. Okay, you don't really want to eat this one just yet, because I've only just done it. But I want to show you, or not show you this day, I'll explain to you how I got to this stage. Yeah, it's really easy. I might make a video, a demonstration video of it later. But my kitchen's an absolute mess at the moment, because the missus isn't here, and I've been doing jobs around the house. Yeah, it's kind of how it is in my house, and it is an absolute mess. I mean, there's stuff everywhere. Tools and bits of plaster, you name it, it's everywhere. Yeah, it's a mess. So I'm just going to explain, you know, how I got to this stage. And it's really, really easy. It really is. And first of all, you've got to do is obviously pick a load of radishes after you've grown them. But be careful if you're using shop-bought radishes. Oh, they're bought in the shop. No, they're bought in the shop. Or grow them yourself. The problem is, if you buy them from a shop, do you know where they come from? Are they locally sourced radishes? That is really important when you want to do lacto fermentation, such as this. You know, fermented pickles and what have you. Just like the pickles you get in your Big Mac, which obviously they'll be little dill pickles. But these fermented pickles, fermented radishes here, if you have radishes that you've bought from a shop, there's a possibility that they've been transported from somewhere. And for them to last, especially with everything that's going on at the moment, for them to last, they might have been irradiated. Yeah, so that, yeah, basically all the bacteria, to stop them from breaking down and rotting on their journey, they've been irradiated. And because they've been irradiated, they won't be any good for lacto fermentation. There's a bacteria, it's lactobacillus. Oh, I can't pronounce it. Latin. You know, it's a weird long name. Anyways, lactobacillus. Yeah, you get my gist. Anyway, it is a probiotic, and it's good for the immune system. It's an antioxidant, what have you. It's good for your body. Yeah, makes your gut bacteria. You know, improves it, increases it. And the thing is, okay, I know you're gonna say, oh, I know, get yourself a probiotic yogurt instead. It'll be easier. There's very little probiotic in any shop-bought yogurt. The best way to do probiotics or yogurts is to make your own yogurts. Because most of these yogurts, the probiotic is added, and most of these yogurts aren't live. Because, you know, yogurt is basic bacteria. Yeah, it sounds horrible, doesn't it? But that's how you make yogurt, you know, through bacteria. And with lacto fermentation, it's exactly what you're doing with that. Now, the process is really simple. All you've got to do is grab your radishes. I'm a bit limp because I just picked it, it's hot. It's limp because it's hot. No, don't go there. Anyway, there's a radish, okay? So you've got to clean them up, what have you. Make sure there's no nasty bits of mud on there that is on that radish. And then slice them up. That's what I did. It's up to you what you do, really. But I sliced them quite thinly, by hand. Or you could use a mandolin or something like that. But when you're trying to... mandolins like a flat plate with a blade in it. And you get your radish and you slice it across a mandolin. The problem is, these are small. So are your fingers. And you've got to keep the tips of your fingers. That's the problem with a mandolin. Apart from that, they're a good thing, or you can use a food processor. You'll end up with all sorts of funny shapes and sizes, to be honest, because it's smaller. Because what happens is the little disc in your food robo is spinning around. These will try and spin around with it, unless you keep the force, the pressure on them. So just get a knife, a nice sharp knife. Yeah, you need to learn how to sharpen your knife, by the way. Anyway, so it's a nice sharp knife and just slice it. Whatever thickness you like. I tend to go for about 1 millimetre, 2 millimetres, so about around 1/16 of an inch. Then what I do, okay, so I've sliced all my radishes, I'm about to put them in the bowl, and I thought to myself, okay, then I need to know how much these radishes weigh. So the bowl itself, what I do is I weigh the bowl first, and the bowl that I generally use is about weighs 100 grams. Okay, I then put all my radishes into that bowl and weigh my radishes. And I might say, I don't know, it's 1,100 grams. In this case, it's exactly what it was, 1,100 grams. So I just took away 100 grams, so I know I've got a kilo of radishes. So basically, in that jar, it's 1 kilo, there's a litre jar, so there's a kilo of radishes. Now, I know what you can say, where did all the water come from? Yes, there's water in there, brine, yeah. But where did it come from? Okay. I don't add brine to my radishes. No, you don't need to. These are nearly all water already. So all I do is I get myself some salt. Oh, that's what brine is. Yeah, salt water already, brine, isn't it? So what I do is I grab my salt and I will add it to my radishes. I don't go mad and sprinkle it all over it and go like a loopy thing. No, I weigh it. I weigh my actual radishes, okay, before I put the salt on, obviously, because okay. I weigh my radishes, and then I add 2.5% by weight of salt. There's something else you need to be careful. You don't want salt with iodine in and iodine. I think it's iodine. It's lots of added rubbish like that in it. You don't want that. Now the reason why you don't want that is it can damage the bacteria again. The other thing is, if you are going to make your own brine and add brine and not do it the way I'm about to tell you, if you do decide that you can do it that way, I don't recommend it, but you can do it that way. You've got to make sure that your water that you're using is free of chlorine, so no tap water. Just use a bit of bottled water. You'll probably be fine with that. Just the cheapest one you can find. As long as it's got no chlorine in it, because the chlorine kills bacteria, doesn't it? That's why they add it into the water. So, well, all the leaks and the pipe work and then poop and stuff that's in there, you don't want that. Yeah, you put chlorine in, that kills all that, you see? That's the idea, so they tell us. Why can't we just have clean water in the first place? That'd be a good idea. It's a bit like the chlorinated chicken argument, isn't it? Chuck the stuff on the floor, to kick it around a bit, you lump of chicken and what have you, then, dunk it in some chlorine, that'd be fine. No. Let's just have some clean, practices, so we don't need to use chlorine. That makes more sense to me. But anyway, there's another story. So back to the radish. Oh, you and your radishes. Yeah, so back to the radish. Now, I've added no water into this. So what I did is, I grabbed my 2.5% by weight of salt, and I used the salt I used from Ile de Ré here in France. It's a little island, and they as the sea comes in and goes out again, you get your own sea salt, you see. And there's loads of flats there. It's a beautiful place to visit. There's also a nudist beach there as well, if you're interested. Yeah, Plage de Sargent, just on the south side of Ile de Ré. But anyway, that's another story. So anyway, go to Ile de Ré, grab your salt, or any, you could use pink salt, what have you, Himalayan salt, any sea salt really, or any salt that doesn't have the iodine added in. If it says iodine, basic table salt, don't leave that alone. Just forget about it. If you get sea salt, the likelihood is you'll be fine. 2.5% by weight, and you've got all your radishes in your bowl. What you do is you chuck salt on there and get in there, obviously clean hands, mix it all up, get a bit of crunching, and put a tea towel over the top. Just a tea towel. It's not a tea towel, but a tea towel over the top so the flies don't attack it. And you add no water, remember, no water. And leave it about an hour, 2 hours, maybe even overnight, if you like, yeah. And then what you do is you remove your tea towel and what have you, give it a bit of a shake about, what have you, and then put it into a sterile jar. It must be a sterile jar. Now, one tip is, if you're using a dishwasher, for instance, and it's relatively hot, you'll kill pretty much everything in the dishwasher. It's in there for quite a period of time, you see. So you could just take it straight out of the dishwasher and use that. And so then we whack all your radishes in there, and what you'll find is in the bottom of your bowl, because you had the salt drew the actual water out of the radish. So that way I didn't have to add add lots of radishes, a kilo in fact, but I don't add any water. And as you can probably see in there, all that water in there has actually come out of the radish. There you go. Out of the radish itself. So then what I do is then, because it's going to take a little while before we can use it. Maybe 3 weeks, a month, something like that. We'll start eating these pickles. Maybe before. You can eat them now if you want. It's not going to kill you. No, before. One thing I forgot to tell you actually. If you do find you've got any scum on the top, yeah. I'm not talking about like floury mould on the top. I'm talking about scum. Just scoop it off. That's just literally yeast. That's all it is. It's the yeast, and it's just doing its thing. Just scoop off the top, then put the actual rest of the ingredients, which is basically your radishes and the brine, which came out of the radish with the salt and what have you, into the jar. Now at that stage, if you want to, you can add other stuff. You could say, okay, I want them hot. I like my radishes hot. Yes, I like my chilli. You can put chilli in, but put one at the bottom, put one in the middle, put one at the top if you want. Yeah, you can put other stuff in there, dill, all sorts of stuff, all herbs, spices, you name it. It's up to you. It's down to your favour. I've got nothing in there apart from salt at the moment. You could add it later if you want to, but I'll do that in my next jar. And I probably will do a video demonstrating doing this, because the process I use for this can be used for pretty much any veg that you want to, do lacto fermentation, so get your probiotics. Some vegetables it won't work so well with. You'll need to add water, vegetables such as carrots, which you can do lacto fermentation with carrot as well. But you won't get enough water out of it, generally. Not like the radishes, there's a lot of water in radishes, and the same with dill pickles and stuff like that. You don't need to add water with those, but with carrots, it's good to add some water, because what you've got to make sure is when you add this to the jar and you squish it all down into the jar, that the actual vegetables, whatever you got in here, are covered in brine. Yeah, so in that case, if you do need to add any brine by water, do it by weight, as in the volume of the water that you're adding in, and do it about 2.5%. Some people say I'll put a few tablespoons and what have you, but you can end up with incredibly salty, food, and it's not that pleasant, So it's up to you, really. And then what I've done here, you see this little this is a tea towel which has been come out. It's clean. And this is a bit like a kiln jar with a cantilever type, top lid. And I'll just trap the tea towel. So you can get special lids for these, right? Now if you ferment, if say for instance you brew beer or something like that, you can get those little valves. You can use them. Now you can get special lids for these. You see, that go on here, and you can put the actual little valves on. Now what I'm going to experiment with, because I've got some glass drills, I might see if I can drill a hole in one of the old lids that I've got kicking about, and then use the little they call like a airlock little trap, stop the bugs getting in, but the air and the gases can get out. That's what this rag is for. So it can vent, but nothing can get in. So you can do it either way. Yeah, I think the little valve way is better for what I've seen, and you can get special lids and stuff. So anyway, that's what I've been doing. I've been fermenting my radishes. Yeah, I tell you what, I'm gonna try one now. I bet it's very salty. Yeah. I'm opening it up. I'm going in. Oh, you could eat them now. To be honest, they're not lacto fermented yet, mind. Just started. They're not much like a pickle. But it's incredibly salty. So there you go. That's how I do my lacto fermentation, and it's incredibly good for you. Obviously, it needs some time. It's got to bubble away and do its thing over a period of time. All the lactobacillus is going to create all the prebiotics and what have you. It'll basically breed in there. Get jiggy with it and create a bit of a tang. Get that tang that you get like you do with dill pickles, like the pickles you get in your they're probably just vinegar, I suppose. I don't know. Don't add any vinegar in it. You don't need any vinegar. No. Okay. Another thing is, if you're finding that you've got a bit of an issue with your lacto fermentation, that's going to loop-de-loop, oh my god, it's going to explode on you. It's very unlikely. Put it in the fridge, it'll slow it down, if you have to. But otherwise, just leave it on the countertop somewhere, out of the light. So don't leave it out in the sun on the windowsill or something like that. I generally just keep it in the cupboard and just check on it each day. Because put it somewhere where you can walk past, and then it's, I don't know. Where do you go to regular? I suppose the toilet. No, don't do that. Anyway, it's time for me to go. But first, I'll give my little doggies a treat, If I can get one out of my pocket. There you are. Oh, what's this, guys? Pandora. I can see it. Or treat. My Wally's he's in the shade, he is. Do you want a treat, Dora? She's just looking at it. She's about to throw it to her. She don't want to move. Oh, you'll perform, wouldn't you? You're performing, dog. This is Sebastian. Yeah, okay, thank you. Another one, another bit. Yeah, well, you're a good boy, aren't you? And Pandora's saying, well, come on then, come here, Dora, if you want it. You got to perform. That's a good girl. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Bye. Anyway, I've got to say ta-ta, and have a lovely day. Just give it a go. Have a go at doing your own, fermented, probiotic, antioxidants, help your immune system, pickles. Pickles to you. Ta-ta.